Welcome to Casey Cares, the voice of Kansas City nonprofits. We share the stories of local nonprofits and the individuals who drive them. At Casey Cares, we connect the nonprofit and business sectors to enhance the quality of life in Kansas City for both residents and visitors. This Casey Cares segment is brought to you by the Ewing Marion Kaufman Foundation, www.kaufman.org. I'm Ruth Baum-Biggis. Hundreds of teens in Kansas City and beyond have been exposed to kindness, something positive to catch. This positive exposure has been made possible by the Kansas City-based nonprofit 7 Days. Now entering its second decade, 7 Days' mission is to overcome hate by promoting kindness opportunities through education and dialogue. 7 Days teaches kindness. How? Why? Joining Casey Cares is 7 Days Co-Founder Mindy Corporon and Abhi Kambhampati, one of 43 members of the Kindness Youth Leadership Team. Let's dive in and welcome.
Thank you, Ruth.
Abhi,
Thank you so much, Ruth, for that warm welcome.
Yeah, it's great to have you. All right, Mindy, in case somebody has no idea, doesn't remember, give us just that little snapshot of how 7 Days was started and moved forward.
Yes. So, and I am always surprised. I can tell in your voice. I am surprised as well when I hear from people that they have never heard of 7 Days. So, but when I tell them why we were created, then if they lived in Kansas City, they always revert back to that. Yes, unfortunately, in April of 2014, a white supremacist murdered 3 people, and 2 of them happened to be my people. So one of them was my father, William Corporon, and the other was my son, Reed Underwood. And the third person who lost her life was Terry Lamano. And the premise of the murder at the time was to murder Jewish people, and it doesn't matter who he murdered people. And so we felt like as a family, and I have felt like for the last 11 years, that it's so important that we focus on kindness. And so that we've just always focused on kindness regarding the youth. Early on, we did focus on interfaith education. And so it's not that we've ignored that, nor have we dropped that off. So our Kindness Youth Leadership Team, and you're meeting Abhi today, they are part of a very diverse group. And I'm sure we'll talk about that. So we just broadened our scope and looked at this strategically as how do we continue to help our entire community. And we decided that the best way to help our community is to help our students, our youth.
Well, in full disclosure to our audience, I know a little bit about this organization, but we at Casey Cares feel it's so important to share this. So I'm trying to ask questions I know answers to, but I want Mindy and Abhi to share this. So you all are now lapping into a second decade. Talk a little bit about that and as a nonprofit doing that.
Yes. Well, I don't know what the statistics are regarding nonprofits succeeding, but I will tell you it has definitely been a journey. There was a period of time in 2018 that we had $12,000 in the bank, and we did not know that we would succeed. We didn't know if we would make it to the end of the year. 7 Days is definitely volunteer-led, and we bootstrap every year. We fundraise every year. We have in this last, in 2024, we were able to garner some local philanthropists. And so Dr. Gary Morsch, the Bob Rainier Family Foundation, and Mrs. Ann Baum have all stepped up after we've asked them specifically to help us journey a little bit more forward. So we are not yet where we need to be financially to, for instance, hire an executive director full-time. So we have a very lively and active board of directors. We have about 15 members at any given time, and they are a working board. But it would be great if we could find the capital, and we're always searching for that. So we look for grants and we do fundraising, and that's how we've managed to stay alive financially. Internally, it's our volunteers. So volunteers like you, volunteers such as, Susie Ratliff and Jill Anderson and Jenny Searles. We did hire also a social media director this year. So we hired Loom Mowen, and then we also brought on Allison Clemens. So we just have a broad volunteer group and organization that have kept us going.
Well, I want to come back at some point to your board, but I want to bring Abhi into the conversation. So Abhi, how are you involved? We introduced you as a Kindness Youth Leadership Team member. What is that? What does that mean? And what do you do?
Yeah, so I think starting with my history at 7 Days, my sister was a KYLT member, and she was a big reason why I decided to join KYLT. I saw the impact she had on our community, how she was able to help people, bring smiles, just simple things like bringing smiles to other people's faces, and activities that she did, not only at 7 Days, but that the skills that she learned at 7 Days, those transcended boundaries to let her succeed at school, college, and are still helping her to this day. And I think that's just one story of many KYLT members, just because she's my sister. But I think that all KYLT members take something out of 7 Days, whether it's skills on how to talk to people, on how to talk to media, but more importantly, I think the lessons that we learn about hate and kindness and the effects that it can have on other people, and how important kindness is, and especially for communities, especially right now when there's so many problems in the world and how the world is as fragmented. But knowing that 7 Days is there and bringing the community together, starting at the youth is the way to go. And I think we're doing it great so far.
Well, in our audience, we need to let know Abhi is a junior at Blue Valley North High School. So big team of high school students. Can you tell us a little bit about how people get on KYLT and what you have to do to be able to participate in that program of 7 Days?
Yeah, so for me, what I did is my sister told me about this opportunity, and I saw how my sister participated in 7 Days. But I think, and that's how I personally connected with 7 Days, but I think many other high schoolers, 7 Days has been growing for a while. It's been around for a while. Lots of high schools know about it. I think almost every Blue Valley school in the district has a walk every year. And that's just a great outreach event for students to understand the message of 7 Days. And they understand what 7 Days stands for and what they can do by being a member of KYLT, and just filling out a simple application explaining what kindness means to you. And those type of things all go a long way. Yeah.
Mindy, how did KYLT come about? Why was this something for your organization?
Yes, well, as I mentioned at the time that these murders happened, my older son, Reet, was 14 years old, and our younger son, Lucas, was 12. And to have him just ripped from our lives so suddenly, I felt that I wasn't finished parenting. And while I had Lucas at home, he all of a sudden became this poor boy who was an only child, and we were pouring into him a little too much. So I enjoy mentoring. I have enjoyed working with youth my entire adult life. I taught cheerleading camps back in the day. And so I've worked with youth literally since I was 17 years old. And so it seemed like a very natural progression to create what we called then a youth advisory board. And that youth advisory board was really the fire lit inside me, but it also lit inside Jake Goldman. And so Jake Goldman was a junior at Blue Valley North when the murders happened. And unfortunately, there had been some other incidents that had happened at Blue Valley North, maybe weeks or months, I'm not exactly sure of the timing, that had bothered Jake quite a bit. Jake is Jewish, his family's Jewish. And there had been some bullying, maybe not for him, but other students caused him a lot of discomfort, and he was upset. And then the murders happened. And then he, at the time, went to Tom Trigg, who was the superintendent of Blue Valley Schools. And he said, I really want to do something. And Tom Trigg sent him to me. And so Jake Goldman helped us start what we called the Youth Advisory Board. And then several years later, we kept it going. He was the leader of the Youth Advisory Board his junior year and his senior year. So it was very student-led at the time. And I was just trying to figure out how to help them, create acts of kindness. What kind of philanthropy did they want to do? They were doing some community service. And then they were helping us put our events together. And then at the beginning of time, too, Jill Anderson joined us as a volunteer. And several years later, she took over the youth advisory board and transitioned it to the Kindness Youth Leadership Team. It now has the months of school, so September through May, I guess you call it the school year. She has programs available for the students, mentoring, education lessons. They come together to do community service, etc. And I'll let Abhi explain more about some of the details that they do.
Yeah, so well, we have many opportunities at 7 Days. I know that every month we always start off with start off with like an award for people who post on their social media, and we always talk about the opportunities that we have through 7 Days. For example, I don't know when in April, but it's somewhere in April. We have a blood drive coming up, and we also have the walk coming up at Blue Valley North, and we have opportunities that 7 Days and KYLT specifically leads us through. Specifically, we have multiple groups or multiple like committees which are specifically lead. For example, I know Perry leads the middle school outreach group, which provides people with opportunities to talk to middle schoolers, which is another way that KYLT and 7 Days spreads to middle schoolers all around the Kansas City area. So I think that these committees and all the opportunities that are given through 7 Days are really important.
This is your second year on the team?
Yeah.
Okay.
Second. Yeah.
There's lots of stuff pulling at high schoolers. You're all involved in your activities, or you're working, or you're just being a teenager and everything. How do you find time for this? And then I'd like to ask, what's your conversation with other schoolmates about it?
Yeah. So I think that if kindness wasn't such an important like mission for me, like to spread kindness to the world, to make my ripple on my community and on my world, if that wasn't so important to me, I think it would have been really hard to make my schedule work. I play one sport. I'm in band, I take multiple AP and honors classes. I'm really busy, but I know that 7 Days, and I know that their mission is so important for this world. And I know that with the world going more and more, not hateful, but the world needing more kindness, you could say. But I guess you never have a limit for kindness. So as the world needs more and more kindness, I just want to make my ripple on the world. And so that makes me want to make time for KYLT and 7 Days, and want to go participate at events and speak at events and explain to my classmates what 7 Days means to me. And that's why I've tried to make 7 Days such a big part of the Blue Valley North community, because it's really important to me. And I think that me being a part of KYLT, I see the message every single day being falling on social media at the meetings, but also for students who don't have those experiences every day. I think it's really important for them also to understand what 7 Days stands for and why 7 Days exists. Why do we need kindness? Why is kindness important? And I think that just talking to my friends about 7 Days, wearing a 7 Day shirt, just those simple things, spreading the ripple, are really important.
Mindy, talk a little bit about the breadth of KYLT. I mean, we've got Abhi over here at Blue Valley North. He's going gangbusters. Is this just a Johnson County thing?
No, ma'am. We have students in a variety of schools. So I know that we have some students who are homeschooled. We've always had homeschool students. We have students that are in parochial schools. The private sector are also available. I believe our KYLT right now represents 17 different districts in the Kansas City metropolitan area. And we are always continuing to look and see how can we branch out of Johnson County. We've had students from Leavenworth in the past. Abhi might be able to speak more to where the students are coming from right now in particular. But I know that it's not specific to all Johnson County students.
Yeah, we have people from Paola, Wichita, all over Kansas, and not even in Kansas. We also have people that aren't in KYLT, but 7 Days. We have city councils, I think that's what they're called, all over the country. I'm pretty sure we have them in multiple states, and yeah, so like these like the KYLT events and all the 7 days events are not limited to just Johnson County.
Mindy, can you talk a little bit about the resources that 7 Days has curated over the past several years, and how are they available?
Yes, so we have curated resources typically specific to youth. But then also, after we did that, we realized that there were adults who wanted some of what we had as well. So we have an let me start with the art competition. So we have an art competition, and that involves students as well. So Abhi's representing the KYLT, and I like to say that 7 Days offers and mentors the KYLT. So it's our internal program that we've created. And then we also created an art competition and a kindness scholarship competition. So for those students, they might or might not be in our kindness youth leadership team. There are students who hear about our art competition and they create graphics for our themes. And so our themes are love, discover, others, connect, you, go, and onward. And I'm wearing our onward shirt today. So the artists create the graphics, and then they submit those during the fall. And then 7 Days provides them $500 in prize money for that. And we also feature them at our breakfast, which is April 2nd. So it's April 2nd this year. It's not always on April 2nd, but it's in April every year. And then our kindness scholarship winners, what I have found in the last 3 years is that we've become a platform for those who want to make their ripple of kindness. So Abhi said it really eloquently. He's making his ripple of kindness by being a member of KYLT. And there are a lot of students who either can't be members, they don't have the time, or maybe they haven't heard about it, but they might be doing an act of kindness within their own community. It could be within their school, it could be within a church or a synagogue or a mosque, it could be just in general in their neighborhood. And if they do an act of kindness and it's ongoing and it's making a ripple, and they write an essay about it, they have the opportunity to be awarded a $1,000 scholarship to their educational institution after high school. So whatever their educational plan is after high school, we offer that institution $1,000 in their name. And then we also honor them at our breakfast. So they'll be at our breakfast, and that'll be exciting to introduce them. We've brought them all together already, these students, and so they've had a platform to create a video, and so we'll be posting those on our social media. We'll be posting those on our website, and then at the breakfast, the students will get announced. Abhi mentioned social media, and I want to point out that what we've done specifically in our KYLT mentoring program regarding social media is to help students understand when they see hate online and to be aware of that. We want students, if their parents say you can't be on social media, we don't force any students to be on social media, but we're working for everyone's feeds to fit who they are, and if they want it to be a kindness feed, we're going to help them make sure it's a kindness feed. And then they've had some education sessions on anti-Semitism, anti-hate, anti-bullying that has to do with social media. So our students are really taught and mentored, what does this look like, so they can share it with other students. They can understand what to share, what not to share, when to step in and say something, or when not to step in, maybe when to block someone, so that it's not something that might continue in a feed. So we're really very thoughtful about the students and their social media, because all of us operate via social media now.
Right.
It's really hard to not have that as a form of communication. So that's part of our program. I think I answered your question a little bit longer, but I wanted to.
No, that's great.
That your audience understands that the KYLT is our internal program, and then we also offer the art competition and the scholarship competition, and those are all student related. And then what's been adult mostly, but this year we have our first student, is our Ripple of Kindness winners. So for several years in a row, we selected one person to be a Ripple of Kindness winner, and these have been pillars, adults who are pillars in our community, pillars of kindness, pillars of community service and philanthropy and giving back without anything in return. And to name a few, that one was our first one was Trent Green, and then Kansas City Chiefs former player, and then Dayton Moore, who was formerly with the Royals, and then Lisa Ginter with Community America Credit Union. And then in our 2010 year, in our 10th anniversary, I shouldn't say 2010, in our 10th anniversary year, we honored 10 Ripple of Kindness winners, and they were all adults, and you can find them on our website in our Ripple of Kindness Hall of Fame. And in 2011, I'm sorry, I keep saying 2011, in our 11th year, I don't know why I'm saying that, in our 11th year, we're honoring 11 Ripple of Kindness winners, but one of them is a high school student. So she was nominated by her church adult mentors nominated her. And so I think that'd be really cool if some of your guests go and look and see who she is. So she's a Ripple of Kindness winner. She is a high school student. And it's just really a joy that our platform is broadening to make sure that we really highlight and showcase what other people are doing that is kind, so that it can continue that ripple.
Sounds very, very exciting. Abhi, I know that you are involved more than these monthly sessions. Talk a little bit about how you have become really engaged with planning and stuff around the breakfast.
Yeah, so I'm actually part of the skit committee, which Ruth helped me get on. So if you come to the breakfast, you'll watch our kindness skit. So I won't tell you too much about that. But on the breakfast committee, we've been basically planning the breakfast. We've been creating Mindy gave us the setup, and then now we're just executing on what type. Where we have some speakers. We're going to have people running the auction, which you should sign up for. And we have big greeters. And so this year's breakfast is going to be a little different from the past year's breakfasts. So we're going to try and make sure that this new experience is something that everyone remembers, and that though the breakfast is only one time a year, it's something that message from the breakfast is carried on throughout the year. And another way that KYLT is really important to me, KYLT is like integrated into my life, is that I was actually at a KYLT, or not a KYLT, I guess a BVN 7 days meeting just a few 30 minutes ago. And we were planning the walk, which we are also having a kindness week during the kindness week that 7 days is during. And so we were planning the activities that we were doing during that week for the ASTs, for the after school, during lunch, for announcements, all of those types of things. And at the end, we're going to have a kindness walk, which is going to allow us to let students know that their message is going to carry on. And we're doing that by having them. They're going to write a message, or their kindness message, on a card, and then they're going to tie it on a ribbon, and they're going to tie it on a fence for everyone to see. And then at the end, we're going to take a big picture with everyone in it to show how all of them together can make their ripple kindness on the community.
Mindy, you're training them well.
Awesome. That sounds very good. So I would let you say to your audience, Ruth, that we, 7 Days has hosted kindness walks for years, and we decided that it really wasn't for us to host the walks. We wanted the students to host the walks. So we did not host a walk in 2024, and we're not hosting a walk in 2025. But as you can hear, Abhi at Blue Valley North, and then other schools that have Kindness Youth Leadership Team members associated with them, and even others. So Operation Breakthrough hosts 7 days inside their facility over the 7 days, and St. Luke's has 7 days inside their corporate workplace. So there are all kinds of different ways that people can participate in the 7 days of kindness.
Where's the best way for them to find out possibilities, resources, etc.?
Yes, our resources and all of our information is available on our website. So it's 7days.org, SEVENDAYS.org. And you can find our Ripple of Kindness Hall of Fame there. You can find resources really easily, and there are business resources and school resources and at-home resources. In case you just want to do some things at home with your family members, that's available as well. If you go to our shop page, we have a shop where you can buy things, and that funding helps our foundation. So you can buy a t-shirt, you can buy all of our theme t-shirts. You can also purchase our kindness socks. So we have our own Be the Ripple kindness socks as well. But the resources are free of charge. So we have resources on the website. We have bookmarks with books regarding kindness for elementary, middle, high school, and adults. And then we just have a plethora of other resources that you can find there. You can download a lot of our resources easily and free of charge.
Well, I'll share and tell one. I don't know if our audience will be able to see it, but this is the Carry On Kindness Ripple card. All right, Abhi, that came from KYLT. Can you talk a little bit about that card and what it is and how you can use it?
Yeah. So I think it was maybe a year ago, we were talking about how we could use different methods to spread the ripple of kindness to the community, whether you know someone or not. So, because like it's a lot easier to spread a message to someone you know, but it's a lot harder to spread a message to someone you don't know, especially that ripple of kindness. But it's more important, or probably not more important, but it's just as important to spread that ripple of kindness to other people you don't know. So we were thinking that we would create this card, which has activities of kindness on the back. So there's things that you can do to be kind, and it just has a few examples, and you can give that card to someone else. So I say I could give it to one of my friends, and they could go look at the examples, do one of them, and then give it to someone else, therefore spreading the ripple. And so these cards, you can give them to people you know, people you don't know. I'm pretty sure we've had Seven Brews and other places handing them out. And these resources are also free, which makes our impact on the community very easy. And yeah.
I recently handed one to Congressman Cleaver, who's our congressperson on the Missouri side of the state line here in Kansas City. A very quick encounter in an airport. He looked like the weight of the world was on his shoulders returning from Washington, and handed him this card. And I said, I'm just going to give you a ripple of kindness. And his face lit up. So what a clever thing to do, and the intention of passing those out. And yes, they are free. So if anybody wanted them and, could do this on their own, company, community group, whatever. It's so great that all those resources are free. And that must make you feel good, Abhi, that when you give somebody something, it's, not like a teacher giving a bad grade or, fellow classmate.
So
who knows what.
So Ruth, on the recording, what I'd like to do is eliminate that the kindness cards are free, because they may not be free in a few months if we have a slew of that. So if they could go and cut that piece.
Okay, Bobby, make that little edit. They are available.
We have resources that are free, and we have resources that we do need a donation for. And that is how they're listed on the website.
Perfect. Mindy, I wanted to go back to something real quick you have a working board. How is that? I mean, is that challenging to make sure everybody steps up, or?
I wouldn't use the word challenging. I don't have a problem asking people to do things. So, but I do when I interview board members, when I reach out to people and interview them, I do let them know that they're going to be on a committee and that they're going to be asked to do certain things. And then I give them an example. Also, before someone joins our board, they always talk with a current board member and get I like to say, give them the lay of the land. Like, what are you asked to do, et cetera, et cetera. So we've had board members who have written press releases for us, like they might start writing press releases for us. Bill Timaeus did that for us for years. We have board members who are helping us write grants. So we've got Stephanie O'Sullivan and Lisa Schiffman, who are cultivating grants on our behalf. And then they've got a volunteer who's helping to write those grants. Right now, we're in the thick of proclamation time. So Abhi mentioned like cities and counties just a little bit ago. We have a lot of cities who are kindness cities. Are we up to 17 cities? I think
17.
Okay, so we have 17 cities in our entire community who are kindness cities. And so a city will do during a city council meeting, they'll offer a proclamation and they'll dedicate 7 days a week. So the city of Miriam or the city of Overland Park. And I'm not going to try to mention all of them right now without the list in front of me. And so, Ruth, I know that today you were helping 7 Days, and one of our board members, Matt, and was it Matt Wagner or Llama Matt?
Matt Wagner.
Okay, so we have 2 Matts this year, and we have 2 Tims on our board. So, so Matt Wagner, was helping this. So today, Matt Wagner was helping accept a proclamation from the county of Johnson County, and so we have counties that are kindness counties, and cities who are kindness cities. And so what board members do is they present themselves for that. They introduce to the community who's attending the city council meeting what is 7 Days and how could they participate. So not only just to come to the website, but maybe they can host 7 Days activities either inside the city and or at their location, wherever their corporate or business location might be.
We have just a minute or so left. Abhi, I'm going to let you be the closer. Why should somebody participate in 7 Days?
Yeah, so I think that 7 Days, it's a big part of, let me stay on track. 7 Days. So I think that their message of bringing kindness to communities, especially as I've seen it in my life, where I've seen the impacts that hate can have on other people. And I've seen it personally on my life, what hate can have, but I've chosen to focus on the good that's come out of those experiences. What I've learned out of those experiences has allowed me to know how to spread my ripple on the community and how to teach people how to be kind. And that importance of those lessons that I've learned are very important. And I think that 7 Days provides, if they give you resources, you can we applied for a grant for our, buying resources for our Kindness Week. All of those things are awesome opportunities to help spread kindness and your ripple, whether you're on the other side of the country or in another, or wherever you are. I think that kindness is important and that we can never get enough of it. And that 7 Days just exemplifies that.
Well, thank you to you both. It's 7 Days, 7days.org. Spread the ripple. How refreshing is that? Let's all work for kindness and try to bring the tone of everything and be human. So thank you to both of you.
Thank you,
so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us on Casey Cares, Kansas City's nonprofit voice, and we're produced by a nonprofit called Charitable Communications. This Casey Cares segment was brought to you by the Ewing Marion Kaufman Foundation, www.kaufman.org. If you'd like to be a guest, check out our website, kccaresonline.org, and spread the love. You'll find us on Facebook and Twitter at Casey Cares Radio and on Instagram at Casey Cares Online. Don't forget, you can catch us Saturday mornings at 8 a.m. on ESPN 1510 a.m. and 94.5 FM. Thank you for joining us on Casey Cares.